11 News starts with breaking news.
That's right, breaking now, a ruling in the Breonna Taylor police shooting case in Louisville, Kentucky is set to be announced at 1:15.
A grand jury is deciding whether to charge the police officers. Crews have been boarding up windows in downtown Louisville, and concrete barriers are being moved to restrict traffic in the city. The police chief says his department does not know what the grand jury will decide. Taylor was shot and killed by police in March while officers were serving a no-knock warrant at her apartment. The city settled a lawsuit with the family, and the police department is conducting a separate investigation into the shooting. Look for an NBC special report coming up when that grand jury announcement is made.
And breaking now, Governor Tom Wolf has filed a notice of appeal on a ruling that some of his COVID-19 restrictions were unconstitutional. That appeal is also against the judge's decision yesterday denying a stay to his original ruling. This all stems from a lawsuit filed by officials in Butler, Fayette, Greene, and Washington counties.
Meanwhile, state lawmakers on both sides are working to ease some of the restrictions for restaurants. Channel 11's Liz Kilmer shows us what it could mean for struggling restaurants.
Restaurant owners have been crying out for help, and here it is, a bill that just passed the Senate and with bipartisan support. It's been a tough stretch for restaurants, some forced to close temporarily, others for good, struggling to make ends meet with the regulations from the governor's office. But lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are working together to ease restrictions. Tuesday, senators passed House Bill 2513 by a landslide, legislation that would do the following: allow customers to sit at bars again and let them order a drink without ordering food. It would also let restaurants operate above 50% capacity indoors if they can still follow CDC guidelines, which include distancing and wearing masks.
House Bill 2513 will allow businesses to strike a balance between ensuring safety and ensuring survival.
Only 6 senators voted no, including Senator Art Haywood, who tweeted, quote, "The bill does not do enough to ensure restaurant workers and customers are safe." So what happens next? I'll break that down. Plus, I'll have responses from the restaurant industry and a report I'm working on for 5. Back to you.
The vote to override Governor Wolf's veto of the youth sports bill is also happening today in the House. And even with the governor's limits on crowd sizes still in limbo, the Hempfield School District plans to allow fans at more of its sports games. According to our trip partners, varsity football and girls volleyball players will each be allowed to have 2 guests, and that means up to 200 people at volleyball events and up to 1,100 people at football events, including cheerleading and band parents. Last week, Hempfield allowed all other fall sports to have 2 spectators per student. Even with the fans, those sports can still abide by the governor's restrictions, unlike football and volleyball. But the athletic director says he believes it all can be done safely with social distancing, a mask requirement, and other safety protocols.
A massive search for a little girl. Police thought she was abducted, and they brought out helicopters and bloodhounds to find her in Banksville Park. The search ended with what police call the best possible outcome. It was a false alarm. Channel 11's Mike Holden explains what led to such a big police presence.
Pittsburgh police have now cleared out of this area entirely, but it was a totally different story last night as they spent hours searching for what they thought was a missing girl. Police say the girl who reported this to them had the best intentions possible, but they say she misinterpreted what she thought she saw. Channel 11 was right there as police swarmed the area of Banksville Park and the woods around it. Police report a girl who was with her family at the park thought she saw a man near the woods take a 6 or 7-year-old girl right around 9 o'clock last night. Police from Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and state, along with the sheriff's office, moved in. With helicopters above and bloodhounds on the ground, they scoured the area. After hours of searching, police determined this girl misinterpreted what she thought she saw. Police say her accounts changed, and no one in the area actually ever filed a missing persons report. They stressed she was not lying and had good intentions.
The main reasons why this report appears to have been a mistake or incorrect was a couple of things. One, we don't have any parents reporting any missing kids. That's a huge indicator right there. 2, some of the details are starting to get a little bit fuzzy from the witnesses, and so we are confident that the witness, who herself is young, might have misinterpreted what she saw.
And Pittsburgh police say they are grateful for this best possible outcome. I'm now working to talk with additional community members about what they spotted and their concerns when this all played out last night. For Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock tonight. Reporting this afternoon from Banksville Park, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
Neighbors came out in the middle of the night to see all the commotion after a car crashed into an apartment. This is what we found when we got out to Brownsville, Road in Carrick. This black Dodge was right up against the front door of the apartment building on Brownsville Road. Curious neighbors were out. They were taking pictures alongside police who were doing their investigation. When they towed the car away, we could see all the damage to the front of the car. We pulled a before and after pic of the apartment there for you. On the left is what it looked like before. On the right, after the crash, you can see right into the staircase and all those bricks that came down, leaving that gaping hole.
In the past hour, the Allegheny Health Department has released an update on coronavirus cases. Health officials have learned of 46 new cases since yesterday. And positive cases are out of 733 tests. 3 additional deaths have also been reported. 2 of the patients caught the virus at a long-term care facility. Allegheny County leaders are set to hold their weekly COVID-19 briefing later this afternoon. And you can look for any new developments tonight on Channel 11 News starting at 5. A CDC advisory panel plans to delay a vote on who should get a coronavirus vaccine first. A vote was expected yesterday, but the panel will now study the issue further. There's a general agreement that frontline health care workers should be the first to get the vaccine, but it's unclear who should be next, those at high risk or essential workers.
We're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And we're all entitled to it, I will tell you that.
The road to the White House returns to southwestern Pennsylvania. Last night, President Donald Trump made his 4th visit here this month, and he says he's, quote, entitled to win. He touched on job creation, energy, and his handling of the pandemic. On the same day, Johns Hopkins reported the U.S. surpassed 200,000 deaths from coronavirus.
Our early and aggressive action saved millions of lives.
Of course, no official count yet on how many people attended that rally in Moon, but we certainly noticed most people were not wearing masks and social distancing was non-existent almost. Governor Tom Wolf said the state sent a letter to the White House about limiting the crowd to 250 people, but says they got no response.
President Trump also doubled down on gun rights, comparing himself to a Steelers linebacker.
They haven't touched your Second Amendment, not even touched it, because I'm here to block. I'm a blocking force. I'm like a lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The president said if he weren't in office, the Second Amendment would be obliterated. We spoke with Allegheny County Executive Rich Fitzgerald. He, of course, is a Democrat and supports Joe Biden.
I think the president knows he's in trouble in Western Pennsylvania because Joe Biden really represents Western Pennsylvania values. And I think he's been connecting with people in Western Pennsylvania for a long time.
Fitzgerald said Biden has spent a lot of time in our region even before he launched his White House bid. And he says Biden represents Western Pennsylvania working class values.
We have a critical election in the 17th Congressional District, and you're going to hear from both of the candidates on Channel 11 this weekend. Democratic Congressman Connor Lamb will debate Republican challenger Sean Parnell. It's a tight race that will affect what the U.S. House looks like next year. And you'll be able to see the candidates debate Saturday night at 7 o'clock right here on Channel 11 and the WPXI Now app.
A bird strike forced the vice president's plane to make an emergency landing Tuesday night. You can see in this video, it shows the strike there, what looks like sparks shooting from the engine. Vice President Mike Pence was heading back to Washington from a campaign rally in New Hampshire. The pilots returned to the airport to be safe. Pence and his staffers used a cargo plane to get home.
A Shaler man accused of destroying a Pittsburgh police cruiser during a protest in May has pleaded guilty to federal charges. Brian Bartels spray painted, hit, kicked, and stomped on the vehicle during a protest outside PPG Paint's arena. Police believe that he incited at least 3 others to help destroy the car. Bartles faces up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine when he is sentenced in January. Happening today, Mayor Bill Peduto will decide the fate of the Christopher Columbus statue that stands in Schenley Park. Critics say that statue glorifies a man who had little regard for human life. But supporters of the statue say Columbus is part of our history, and they think the statue should stay standing. The mayor is expected to announce a decision on this afternoon.
A live look from the U.S. Supreme Court, paying respects to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Her body is lying in repose at the Great Hall. That ceremony is private. Our Samantha Manning is outside the U.S. Supreme Court, where a crowd has been gathering.
Crowds of people came out to pay their respects to the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We're standing right alongside the U.S. Supreme Court, and you can see the line wraps all the way around along the street leading up to the steps. Ginsburg was a women's rights icon and served 27 years on the nation's highest court. She will lie in repose at the U.S. Supreme Court today and tomorrow. Her family attended a private ceremony inside the court. The building itself is actually closed due to the coronavirus, so instead her casket has been placed at the top of the court's steps. More than 100 former law clerks came out to serve as honorary pallbearers. On Friday, Ginsburg will become the first woman in U.S. history to lie in state at the U.S. Capitol. Ginsburg died at the age of 87 from complications with cancer. A spokesperson for the White House said President Trump will pay his respects tomorrow to the late justice here at the U.S. Supreme Court. In Washington, Samantha Manning, Channel 11 News.
The state is about to launch its own website for Affordable Care Act insurance. It will replace the federally run healthcare.gov for 2021 enrollment. The website will be called Penny. It was approved in an effort to get more people to sign up, lower their insurance costs, and save the state money.
The CDC says trick-or-treating should be a no-go, but local health officials say it can happen. The tweaks that you need to make to keep you and your family safe.
A local officer accused of stealing from the evidence room. What investigators say he did to try to cover it up.
We're seeing the sunshine now, but will it last for the rest of the day? More details coming up in your full forecast, so stick around.
You're streaming WPXI now. Channel 11 expands its streaming live newscasts. When other stations are national, Channel 11 News is local, right here at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. on WPXI Now.
nobody can read between the lines.
She's an 18-year-old girl. She got a settlement. You saw a little money. You wanted a big red truck.
Like Judge Judy.
Shiny, shiny, shiny red truck.
Judge Judy, weekdays at 4 and 4:30 on Channel 11.
What's new?
What's now and what's next every morning
on Channel 11 Morning News.
A local police officer accused of stealing cash from evidence rooms. Officer Joseph Lynn worked for the North Braddock and Blawnox police departments. According to the criminal complaint, state police were called to investigate cash that was missing from the evidence room at the North Braddock Police Department. Police say Lynn was seen covering up surveillance cameras. Investigators say he stole $225 from a car that had been reported stolen. The complaint also says he was behind some similar thefts while working for the Blawnox Police Department.
The NFL says 0 players tested positive for COVID-19 coming out of Week 1. More than 36,000 tests were administered to nearly 8,000 players and team personnel between September 13th and September 19th. While no players tested positive, there were 5 positive tests connected to team staff. Saturday's Notre Dame-Wake Forest game has been postponed after a spike in positive COVID-19 tests there among players at Notre Dame. 7 players tested positive Monday, and through contact tracing and protocols, 13 players are in isolation and 10 are in quarantine. NBC News and SurveyMonkey just released a survey showing people's attitudes about college football. 70% of people said they would not attend a football game this fall. People were split on whether or not play should resume. 61% said resuming play puts players at additional risk for coronavirus, and of those, 36% are Republican and 85% are Democrats.
Well, nothing, I'm sure you'll agree, about 2020 is normal. And Halloween you can add to the list now. There's going to be a rare blue moon, daylight savings time, and it's on a Saturday. Kids of all ages have already started to pick out their costumes, and they're plotting their candy course. And Halloween will happen, but with a few tweaks. NBC's Dan Sheneman tells us what to expect.
Everyone loves Halloween.
This is a very special holiday, and I know it's one that is enjoyed by many, both children and adults.
Most years, Halloween is about costumes.
That's a pretty cool mask.
Candy and community. This year, it's also about COVID.
Most parents are, scared.
But that fear won't stop parents.
You know, there are going to be several things that you're going to need to ensure to stay safe.
Dr. Frank Esper believes it's possible to have fun this Halloween, but most everything, even trick-or-treating, will be different.
Instead of doing it at your door, maybe coming out if you're able to, coming outside, greeting them at the sidewalk, greeting them at your driveway.
He also suggests wearing more than one mask.
You should still think about wearing a regular, cloth mask. On your face, and maybe even actually incorporate that into your costume.
And the CDC has also made some recommendations about other holidays. Next up, it'll be Thanksgiving. Small dinners, they're saying, only with those who live in your household. And shopping in crowded stores around the holiday should be avoided.
Hundreds of people who work for Bed Bath & Beyond will lose their jobs by the end of the year. The home decor chain is set to shut down 63 more stores. Back in July, the company said it would be closing about 200 stores over 2 years. And last month, it announced 2,800 jobs would be eliminated to try to tighten up finances.
Tropical storm Beta causing major flooding now in Houston. Some places have seen over 1 foot of rain, and the slow-moving storm is expected to drop more moisture. Those rain bands will be less intense, but it's not going to take much for a flash flood because of the already saturated ground. Meanwhile, Hurricane Teddy brought dangerous surf and huge waves to part of New England yesterday. You can see the storm lash the coast in Revere, Massachusetts. Powerful waves crashing over the seawall, pushing cars out of the way. Much of the Massachusetts coastline was under flood and high surf advisories.
You're
your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Meanwhile, conditions are quiet and clear. Looking outside right now, not a bad start to the afternoon. 70 degrees, so temperatures nice and mild paired with the dry conditions. So maybe you're headed out to lunch. A lot of restaurants allowing outdoor seating. Not a bad idea with temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s. We even have 70 in Washington, also in Pittsburgh, 68 in Morgantown, and a nice comfortable 69 in Butler right now. So the sunshine will continue in a pretty big way, but you can see some haze later on this afternoon and this evening with smoke coming in from the west coast. We're also talking about a warm up as we go throughout the rest of this week. So those highs and lows will be inching up as we go throughout the rest of this week. So the nice comfortable temperatures that we'll see today make it a little bit warmer for you as we go toward the end of the week. So here's the smoke forecast. Notice the smoke and how it will continue to push farther into western Pennsylvania. So later this afternoon and this evening, even though we will have scarce cloud cover, still some haziness in the air due to the smoke aloft. So just keep that in mind. That is not really cloud cover that's blocking the plentiful sunshine, but the haze in the sky. So if you are particularly sensitive to any particles in the air, we do have an air quality alert for you, moderate. So sensitive groups, you may want to stay inside and limit your time outside today. And if you usually go for an evening bike ride after work, you may want to consider moving it to maybe tomorrow possibly, or maybe indoors if you do have access to an indoor bike. Maybe some indoor cycling could be good for you, but temperature wise, not bad if you are not included in that sensitive group. Temperatures will be dwindling down, but overall in the 70s, so feeling pretty good outside, really not breaking a sweat too early into your workout. Also staying on the drier side, a good bit of sunshine with just a cloud here or there. But again, remember that haze will be in the sky. We do need some rain. The rain would greatly help to reduce pollutants in the air. And so far this month, we have been well below where we should be for this time of year. We should be just over 2 inches of rain, and we have been close to 2 inches below where we should be, with only a little bit over a ½ inch of rain. And we're really not looking at a possibility of seeing any rain until we go into the second half of the weekend. So we're dry today for the rest of the day, dry tomorrow. We will have a good bit of cloud cover at the start of the day, and coming up in the next half hour, I will go into how we'll see some more rain during next Sunday. But if you are looking to get some things done for the rest of this week, you're good to go up until Saturday. And then Sunday comes our next best shot for showers. And again, that warm up comes through Saturday, dipping down with the cloud cover and rain on Sunday.
What Walmart is doing differently this year to make Black Friday bigger, but without bringing crowds of people into the stores.
And a local nursing home goes from 0 cases of COVID-19 to 35. What happened? And the change is now in place.
Channel 11 Morning News brings you what's happening now.
Tiny molecule might make a big difference.
Could not only treat COVID-19, but keep people from catching it.
What's new?
Mike Holden with these new comments from the governor.
4 specific measures for the upcoming election.
And what's next?
Governor Tom Wolf's shutdown orders were unconstitutional. What's next, and what does this ruling impact?
We are dealing with some smoke, though. You might have noticed the hazy sky.
Count on Channel 11 News for live coverage every morning.
nobody can read between the lines like Judge Judy.
Uncle Ben's rice products are getting a new name, Ben's Original. Mars is also dropping the package logo that depicts a Chicago head waiter. It's part of the company's previously announced plans to create a more inclusive brand. The new branding will have the same blue font and orange packaging and will hit shelves next year. The changes are part of a broader movement about racial equality amid heightened criticism of brands with origins rooted in racial stereotypes. In June, the companies that make Uncle Ben's, Aunt Jemima, Cream of Wheat, and Mrs. Butterworth said they would retire or rebrand their products.
Walmart is getting ready for a very different holiday season. The retail giant announcing plans to meet the demands of increased online shopping. It is promising an all-new Black Friday experience, spreading savings throughout the holiday season with more deals available online. Walmart is also hiring 20,000 seasonal workers for its fulfillment centers. There is word Amazon plans to kick off this year's Prime Day on October 13th. The company has told warehouse workers that they will not be able to take vacation between the 13th and the 20th. That's according to a notice that was seen by CNBC. Amazon confirmed in July it would be postponing Prime Day. The annual event is designed to entice new Prime subscribers, promote Amazon's products and services, and provide a sales boost in the middle of the year. Still waiting on your coronavirus stimulus check? What may be causing millions of Americans to miss out on the extra cash?
This local nursing home has had no coronavirus cases since the pandemic started. How the people in charge are keeping it that way.
WPXI Now. When a major story breaks, this is where you'll find 24-hour coverage. From the Channel 11 newsroom to our crews live in the field, we'll bring you the information you need right now. WPXI Now. Always on when you want the latest on breaking news. Every candidate, every voice, every vote matters. From the campaign trail to your backyard, we're talking to the candidates about the big issues and to the voters who will decide the election. Channel 11 News, Decision 2020 coverage you can count on.
Watch The Kelly Clarkson Show weekdays at 1 p.m. right here on Channel 11.
Families may finally be able to visit their loved ones in nursing homes again. The state updated COVID-19 guidance for testing and visitation. That guidance says that safe visitation can resume if the level of community spread is low and if there are no cases at that facility.
Channel 11's Amy Marcinkiewicz shows us how things are now changing at one local nursing home that's been COVID-free 6 months into the pandemic.
Not one client who lives here at Lutheran Senior Life Care Passivant in Zelienople has come down with COVID-19, and Wednesday the facility opens up to visitors. It's been a rough 6 months for the folks who live here at Lutheran Senior Life Passivant. COVID-19 has changed the way they live, not being able to have any outside visitors.
Even though you can do virtual visits or talk to them on the phone, it's not the same as sitting down and being proximate to somebody. So it's excruciating in many ways.
But this facility has done really well during the virus. None of its more than 500 residents have come down with COVID-19. Starting Wednesday, the care center will open back up to visitors. Still, the requirements will be stringent. 18 visits a day. 2 family visitors at a time, going to a neutral safe zone in the building with no touching, but at least they'll be in the same space together.
Those visits will be supervised to make sure that everybody's following the protocol, so wearing a mask or face shield, keeping physical distance. Unfortunately, we still can't allow families to hug or hold a hand, but we can at least get them together in the same room for connection and conversation.
Visitations will start with 2 family members per client, but they hope in the coming weeks to open it up to more family members. In Zelienople, Butler County, Amy Marcinkiewicz, Channel 11 News.
32 patients and 3 workers at a nursing home owned by Westmoreland County test positive for COVID-19. Westmoreland Manor had not had a single resident test positive since the pandemic started, but that changed last week when testing became required at nursing homes, and now changes are underway.
3 times a day we got our temperatures taken. They were testing the employees coming in and out. There were no cases, so we were allowed visitors 6 feet apart and everything. Well, that's all shut down now again.
Yep, in-person visitation is suspended, and officials say most of the cases there are asymptomatic. More testing is expected to be completed by today.
The heads of the nation's finances are urging Congress to quickly pass another round of coronavirus relief aid. It comes as both parties have been unable to reach a compromise to get more money to small businesses, schools, and more. Channel 11's Samantha Manning is in Washington, where the Treasury Secretary says he is willing to continue to work with Congress.
There's a push for more financial help for Americans hit hard by the pandemic.
I believe a targeted package is still needed.
Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin urged lawmakers to come up with a bipartisan proposal.
It should be focused on kids and jobs and areas of the economy that are still hard hit, particularly areas such as the travel business.
It comes as Congress remains at a months-long stalemate over negotiations for a second round of coronavirus relief aid. Federal Reserve Board Chairman Jerome Powell told Congress the aid passed in the CARES Act has had a major impact on helping the economy rebound.
We remain committed to using our tools to do what we can for as long as it takes to ensure that the recovery will be as strong as possible.
But Democrats criticized the Fed's handling of the programs meant to help small businesses struggling from the pandemic and said the Trump administration hasn't done enough for those in need of emergency rental assistance.
Let me be blunt. This pandemic response has fallen badly short.
Republicans defended the president's actions and steps taken by the Fed, pointing to a drop in unemployment and a boost in the housing sector.
This Federal Reserve's response to this unprecedented pandemic is top-notch. It is fantastic.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said the House won't go on break until congressional leaders and the Trump administration reach another deal for a new relief package. But there's no word right now on exactly when that may happen. Did you expect to get a stimulus check in the first round but never got it? According to the Government Accounting Office, more than 8.7 million Americans did not get their payments. The group blames inadequate records held by the IRS and the Treasury Department. The Treasury found in April no data exists for about 14 million people who are eligible for stimulus payments but don't normally file tax returns or receive federal benefits.
A lot of people. A live look outside the U.S. Supreme Court. People are gathering there to pay their respects to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Her body is lying in repose at the Great Hall. And there is a big fight brewing over her replacement. Tracy Potts takes us through what is happening today and in the weeks ahead.
People, especially women, are flocking to the U.S. Supreme Court to remember the late justice known as the notorious RBG.
I really like the fact that she stood up for everybody's rights, men and women.
More are expected to pay tribute today as Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's casket is placed outside overlooking the U.S. Capitol, where there's a fight to quickly confirm her replacement.
We're going to fill that seat.
President Trump says he'll announce a nominee Saturday.
Now, they're all great women. They're brilliant, great scholars.
A woman likely to create the most conservative court in a century, making decisions on health care, abortion, gun rights, and maybe even the presidential election.
With the unsolicited millions of ballots that they're sending, you're going to need 9 justices up there.
Republicans picking up a key vote from frequent Trump critic, Senator Mitt Romney.
If a nominee actually reaches the floor, that I will vote based upon the qualifications of that nominee.
Romney's support all but kills Democrats' efforts to fulfill Justice Ginsburg's dying wish to postpone a vote until after the election.
The American people should have a voice in their selection of the next Supreme Court justice.
But that may not happen. Republicans appear to have the votes to fill Ginsburg's seat on President Trump's watch.
The president already interviewed one candidate personally at the White House this week. Another interview set in Miami on Friday. And this morning, the Associated Press is reporting we could see a confirmation hearing in mid-October with a final vote as early as October 29th, just 5 days before the election. We are on the Capitol grounds just across from the U.S. Supreme Court. I'm Tracy Potts, NBC News.
It's hard enough to find a job right now. Next, the warning about a new scam targeting college students.
Hi, I'm Lisa Robertson, and we've been bringing you a special version of Local Steals and Deals, where we shine a spotlight on amazing companies and their passionate founders. Small businesses really are the backbone of America, and we need them to thrive now more than ever. With Local Steals and Deals, we bring you exclusive offers from these brands on products that make your life safer, brighter, and more fun at a time when we all really need it. Join us in making a difference. Simply pick up your phone and text USA to 65,000 to learn more.
Shutdown showdown. The federal judge said the governor's restrictions on limiting gatherings are unconstitutional. WPXI tonight is getting answers.
The Constitution still prevails.
We have team coverage from Beaver County to Washington County.
What's next and what changes can happen right now?
And I'm going to take that appeal as far as necessary.
The people that I talk to feel very torn about this issue.
The more people you have around it, more people are going to get it.
Too many families are being hurt by this.
Count on Channel 11 News.
Watch Channel 11 News at 6.
Followed by NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
The Better Business Bureau says scammers are using this pandemic to target college students. The scams begin with an email sent to a student's official school email address. The scammer impersonates a professor or a university department with a job offer. If accepted, the student receives a check and is told to send out some money orders or prepaid cards. Eventually, the bank alerts the student it's a fake check. By then, though, the scammer has their money and their personal information.
Now is a scary time for money matters, and a lot of people are worried about their retirement plans.
Our consumer advisor, Clark Howard, shows you the keys to protecting yourself.
You work hard for your money, and if you have money that you're ready to invest, the key to protecting yourself is you want to hire someone or a firm where there's no doubt that they're there for you. You want to hire a fee-only financial planner that you pay him or her for their advice, either per hour or as a percent of what you have invested with them. They don't make any money from commissions in that situation. The other thing is look at the discount brokers like Charles Schwab, Fidelity Investments, and Vanguard that have programs available where you can use robotic advice or the advice of a human to know the best choices for you, where all they're about is giving you low-cost investments. I'm Clark Howard.
It is the time of the year when flu season starts to pick up, and of course this year it's going to be much different. How to tell if you have COVID-19, the flu, or just seasonal allergies?
We're dry today, but when's the next shot? We could see some showers. Up next, I'll have more details about weekend rain.
You're streaming WPXI Now, your source for original local shows. Get the inside scoop on all the hot events, entertainment, and celebrities in and around Pittsburgh every week. Stream Access Pittsburgh on demand anytime on WPXI Now. Channel 11 Morning News brings you what's happening now.
I'm live here on the breaking news desk working to find out what happened.
What's new and what's next.
Shutdown orders were unconstitutional. What does this ruling impact?
Count on Channel 11 News every morning. Watch David Johnson and Peggy Finnegan on Channel 11 News at 5.
A new study shows most people infected with coronavirus eventually develop symptoms. Researchers in Switzerland studied more than 6,600 COVID patients. 1,200 had no symptoms at first. They found only 20% of those patients remained asymptomatic during a follow-up. That means many people may test positive before symptoms develop, and they were not truly asymptomatic. Experts suggest pre-symptomatic transmission is a big contributor to the spread of the virus. Every sniffle and sneeze attracts attention these days, but is it a sign of fall allergies, the flu, or COVID-19?
I know, so hard to tell. Dr. Frank McGeorge explains what to do if you start suffering symptoms and why the advice may be different this fall compared to previous years.
A cough, maybe a runny nose. Unlike in years past, these days, those symptoms will get you a sideways glance in public. Now, timing-wise, if you've had fall allergies in past years, if your symptoms are similar, it would be a good bet that you have fall allergies again. Influenza is very unlikely right now, since there isn't any place in the U.S. with significant flu activity yet. Once we get to November, though, the flu will be more likely than allergies for many. If you have the same fall allergy symptoms you always do, it's more likely that's the answer. Now, as COVID activity changes, possibly increasing into late fall and winter, COVID may become more likely than even the flu. You also need to consider your symptoms. Symptoms that make it more likely to be allergies include itchy eyes and sneezing. Now, a fever or body aches make it unlikely that it's an allergy. COVID or influenza are more likely in that case. Now, distinguishing the flu from COVID is very challenging, but shortness of breath, vomiting, or diarrhea are more common with COVID than the flu, and they also make allergies unlikely. Finally, think about your exposures. If you become aware that you were exposed to COVID, especially because it can present with minimal to no symptoms, you need to take any symptoms seriously and get tested.
And if you have any serious symptoms like fever, body aches, shortness of breath, or a significant cough, doctors say you should definitely consider getting tested for COVID.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Happy Wednesday. You need to get a midweek car wash in the next few hours. Not bad at all. Temperatures in the 70s, nice and comfortable. Plenty of sunshine, some more cloud cover building though, but still a mix of sun and clouds though later toward the evening hours, and then a few more clouds later tonight. So into the afternoon, actually looking pretty good if you're washing it yourself. Temperatures in the mid 70s, so you're good to go for the rest of this afternoon. Highs getting into the mid to even upper 70s, around 76 degrees for the high in Pittsburgh. Could be in the upper 70s there in Washington, Uniontown. For the peak of the daytime heating in Morgantown, you could be around 77 as well. So overall, looking pretty good for today. Satellite radar showing the remnants of beta affecting states along the Gulf Coast there, so into eastern Texas, throughout Louisiana, a good bit of rain throughout Louisiana, into Arkansas, Mississippi, even throughout western portions of Tennessee. Even a little bit of rain into portions of Kentucky and even northwest Alabama. We're bone dry here. We're going to stay dry for the rest of this work week and even the first part of the weekend. So maybe you want to get outside. Not a bad idea. Now, the air quality is low today, so you may want to check on that if you are sensitive to pollutants in the air or even have allergies. Just keep that in mind. But we will be on the dry side for any outdoor activities you may need to take part in. The next best shot for showers does come Sunday into Monday, so going into the early parts of next week. Now, maybe you're going to church or have to go to work, going to breakfast first thing in the morning, not looking at a lot of shower activity at this time. Now, models have updated, so there are updates coming. So if you do have plans earlier in the day or just throughout the day on Sunday in general, continue to check in with us as this forecast continues to evolve. We continue to fine-tune the details of this forecast, but we also look to stay dry into the late morning hours. Looks like that rain could come with that cold front during the afternoon. Around 3 o'clock, northwestern portions of western Pennsylvania getting some rain around this time. Likely Newcastle, Beaver into Butler, and that line will continue to move throughout the night into the early parts of Monday morning. So again, still fine-tuning that forecast, but Sunday does look like our next best shot for showers. We need the rain, but if you need it to be dry for your activities, Wednesday through Saturday looking to be dry with a warm-up on the way.
All right, thanks, Jessica. Now, local steals and deals.
Hey,
Lisa Robertson here with Local Steals and Deals, and here's a really good one. I don't know about you, but spending all this time at home, I've been spending a lot of time in the kitchen. And I don't mean to brag, but I've actually made some things that are really good and that I'm so proud of myself. But one of the things I found spending time in the kitchen is having the right tools makes all the difference. If I'm struggling with the wrong things, it's no fun. If I have great tools, oh my gosh, it's fabulous in the kitchen. So this knife set with this beautiful block is perfect. This is from J.A. Henkel's. That's a name that has been one of the #1 names in quality kitchen tools since 1895. This is German engineered quality stainless steel. You get this beautiful sleek block. You get 4 knives and the shears, but here's the great part. Do you ever notice that you have a knife block with a million knives and you only use a few? I do that, right? I have like, all this and I just use these. So what they did is they pared it down to the 4 essential knives. You're gonna have the paring knife, right? That's your just basic fruits, veggies, easy, great size, kind of cuts everything. Here's your serrated knife for your breads. Then we have the utility knife. This is kind of that catch-all in between. Then we have the chef's knife. This is my favorite for the rocking, back and forth, love that. These are all, by the way, great weight, beautifully done, great balance, feel good in the hand, great quality, and kitchen shears, they come in this great block. Here's the cool thing. Do you ever notice that there's never enough room in your kitchen? Look how this just slides right in. Takes up no room, all the knives you need, great quality, dishwasher safe, and you're ready to go. So now, when you're getting ready to make something for a snack, when you're making dinner for the family in the evening, if you want to give somebody a great gift and they're spending time in the kitchen, what could be better than a fabulous set of knives? These make your everyday better. They make cooking a joy, and right now they're on localsteals.com for 36% off. Just one of the great ideas we have for you.
On Channel 11 Morning News, we bring you what's new, what's happening now, and what's next.
That means our newsroom is always searching for new details and new stories.
It also means breaking. If it's happening now, I'm on it, bringing you live updates from the breaking news desk.
Our crews know the mission, too.
We should get this on air now.
Brand new confirmed information, preparing you for what happens next. How will news stories, weather, and traffic affect your day?
What's new, what's now, and what's next every morning on Channel 11 Morning News.
Nobody can read between the lines like Judge Judy.
Pittsburgh's Rex Theater says it is shutting down because of the pandemic. The Southside music venue made the announcement on Facebook. The owners cited the ongoing hardship and uncertain future. They say they considered every option and tried to keep their dream alive as long as they could. The big South by Southwest Music Festival in Austin, Texas was canceled this year and is going digital in 2021. The event will include conference keynotes, screenings, networking, and exhibitions. Entries for next year's digital experience open October 6th. South by Southwest is scheduled to take place from March 16th through the 20th. Officials say they've joined forces with the city of Austin to still plan for physical events in case they can be held.
Man's best friend has been enlisted in the fight against the spotted lanternfly. A team of veterinarians at the University of Pennsylvania have trained the dogs to sniff out the eggs of this invasive species before they even hatch. Those insects can cause trees to rot, and they excrete a substance that is toxic to plants. The Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture funded the study, and it plans to start using its first detection dog, Lucky, soon. If you're a coffee lover, Pittsburgh is the place to be, apparently. The new Wallet Hub survey ranks the city 6th best coffee city in the U.S. The website compared 100 largest cities across 12 key indicators. Pittsburgh got the top spot for the number of coffee shops and cafes per capita. It was 8th for affordable coffee shops. Of course, Seattle topped the list. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Now our next newscast comes up tonight at 5.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Hey! Attention, all personnel. We got to nip it! Go on! Green Acres, we are there! I know nothing!